Hello and welcome to the W Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me, Stephen.
Coach, I don't know if we can still wish people Happy New Year, but Happy New Year if you're allowed to still do it a week after or so.
Jerry Seinfeld says you can do it till almost the beginning of February, but after that you can't. So
Oh,
say
great.
Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year, Coach,
Okay.
and Happy New Year to all you. Coach, solid 2-1 week last week. You went on the road, beat Northeastern, came home, went 1-1. A win over James Madison in overtime on Friday, and then a loss to Elon on Sunday. Just your overall assessment of the week, really the first full week of conference play.
Yeah, it was, as you said, 2-1. You want to get all three of them, and just so we'll go one by one. But we had the devastating loss at William & Mary. To their credit, they made shots. To our dismay, we couldn't find a way to win at the end. Thankfully, we've done that a bunch this year, but with William & Mary, we didn't. So to come off that tough loss to William & Mary and go to Boston and beat a very, very good team, a very hot team, is something to be proud of. So that was a great win up there. We got some play off the bench from Matija Radovic. It was a big surprise. I mean, he had 5 points and played like 20 minutes and really helped us. That was great. And then we play the James Madison game and have the exciting overtime game where we're down 3, and we executed very well down the stretch in a couple of different ways and found a way to win that one. And then, of course, Elon, we knew we had to defend, and we still didn't. So give them some credit, and we got to get back to the drawing board defensively.
You've talked about it this week in a couple of different occasions. Last year, in kind of the same situation, a very tough loss to William & Mary, and then your team didn't respond last year to it. Do you feel like you got the opposite reaction this year with the win at Northeastern and the win at JMU, where your team did respond and you were able to overcome what was a very disheartening loss?
Sure, and you nailed it, and we did talk about that. You're right. You and I probably talked about it on the bus or something like that we're going to have to see how we respond, and we did. You explained the situation perfectly, so it's a good quality this team has, and when we play hard and when we defend, I think we can be a pretty good team, and when we don't, we're not going to win.
Through the first 4 conference games, not just for Hofstra, but across the board, it really shows that it's not. There's not going to be one team that's just going to run away with this. 1 through 10, whether it's JMU competing with Hofstra, or it's William & Mary being 4-0, or Charleston losing at overtime to Drexel.
Yeah.
It's conference play, isn't it?
Whatever league, I say this every year, I say it all the time, so I apologize for being repetitive, but whatever league you're in, it's the toughest league in the country. And our league is the best league in the country that nobody knows about, so shame on us that nobody knows about it, but it's a great league. There's never an easy one. They're all hard, and you just got to be ready to go every night.
A couple real incredible individual performances this week, both career-wise and single game-wise. Let's get to the career one first. Friday, JMU, Rochus reaches 1,000 points for his career. Only the 3rd player in program history with 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. I mean, can you really put in perspective the astounding career he has had here that almost goes unnoticed at times?
Yeah, well, that's because, tired subject, but you have to talk about it. People only talk about scoring in our sport. They just take such an emphasis on scoring. It's all about points, and Rock's a rebounder. But I've been saying it, you're probably tired of hearing it too, but I don't know. How would you equate 1,000 rebounds? Wouldn't you say it's like getting 2,000? I don't know.
I know it's impressive.
It's
only three players have done it in program history.
It's an incredible thing, and these last couple of games, like the career-wise, you're going to talk about the individual stuff too in a second, but career-wise, to get 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds is just, it's an incredible thing.
And he's obviously really come on late. He's been playing well probably the last 3 or 4 games.
Right.
And the career numbers, 3rd all-time in Hofstra history, 2nd all-time in CA history. The only man with more right now is a guy named David Robinson.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
What has been going right for Rochus maybe over the last 3 to 4 games, and he's really turned it on a little bit, especially rebounding.
He had that one little stretch there where, it just, he got some foul trouble. He just went through some frustration, like I remember, I think it was the Ryder game. They had a unique defensive scheme where we just couldn't get him the ball. And it's not about scoring with Rock. It's about just getting him involved in the offense a little bit. So, but I think, you used the word respond earlier on. I think he's responded really well. And I'll tell you what, everybody's pretty normal. Whether it's Rochus or anybody else on the team. I'm glad he's got the weight off his shoulders now of scoring that 1,000th point. He can now, as I said to him, I said, look, you've rewritten the record book. just relax now and see what you can do to help get this team into the NCAA tournament.
And speaking of 1,000 points, second player in the same week to do it, Justin Wright Foreman on Sunday against Elon. What he's done over the last 40 games is spectacular. Just put it into perspective what he's kind of done with his career almost at this point, from a freshman year where he barely played to becoming maybe one of the most prolific scorers in program history at this point.
Somebody just told me this the other day. His freshman year, he scored 44 points. So halfway through his junior year, he's hit 1,000. I mean, it's amazing. So he's basically gotten 1,000 points in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing. I mean, he handled the freshman year frustrations where he wasn't quite ready to play, particularly defensively. I think he'd say that to you too. And then of course he had Wanya Green, Amin Tanksley, Brian Bernardi. He had those people ahead of him. Nobody was playing much ahead of those guys. But he's really he's become he's a very confident guy. I mean, you have to be that way to be a good scorer. He scores a lot of different ways, and I think his teammates do a good job of getting him to basketball too. I'm impressed with the fact he's had 5 or 6 assists the last couple of games too, in each game. So
yes, tied his career high multiple times lately.
Yeah.
One more question about those two, and then we'll get to the next set of games. It obviously came in a loss, and if I can ask you to look past that, but Sunday, just remarkable individual performance from each of them. 39 points from Justin Wright Foreman and 23 rebounds from Rochus Gustis. Just they're absurd numbers in basketball games, and Rochus has done it regularly in his career, and Justin has reached 30 points now regularly in his career. Just your thoughts on kind of what they did Sunday, and obviously that they've done regularly in their career.
I mean, it's an incredible thing. The one thought I have, I feel bad talking about this, but it's the nature of our sport. It's a team sport. We lost the game. It's just a shame we didn't win that game so that we could really, celebrate those 2 feats. We're still gonna, be in awe of those 2 things, both of them. But doggone it, you got to win those games so you can celebrate the individual moments. If the team doesn't win, the individual moments are going to take a back seat, and that's the way it should be.
Exactly. Coach, big week, go on the road for first extended road trip of the conference slate at Towson on Thursday, at Drexel Saturday. Your thoughts going into games against longtime Hofstra rivals?
Haven't slept or eaten in a little while. It doesn't look like I haven't eaten, but yeah, you can really get some agita thinking about those games. I mean, I can only go one game at a time. I can't even handle, the Drexel thing. I just know this, what we talked about earlier. All we have to tell our team is Drexel beat Charleston. That's all they need to know. But again, all we're thinking about is Towson. One of the best coaches in the country, Pat Scarry, really gets them ready. It's the toughest team in the league. There's some tough teams. Charleston's tough. There's some
We're
teams
playing a football team.
We're playing a tough team. It's one of those bring your helmet games. It's a tough team, and I really admire that because this game honors toughness. They play well together. Got a lot of different ways to beat you. We're going to just try to think of something, but you better be ready to go when you play that team.
What are the keys to victory on Thursday?
I said this the other day, and I'm really going to sound like a wise guy, but there's really only 2 keys: offense and defense. We gotta find a way to score. We gotta find a way to stop them, and but we talked about the toughness. If you're not tough, forget it. You won't score or defend, and there's no one guy sticking out to you. I mean, we got to make sure we stop this guy or that guy. It's just a really good team.
Well, Coach, we wish you good luck, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you very much, Steve.
And thank you for joining us in the W. Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich.